which is an interesting place to derive prayer, since
It was a failure.
it was a failure, and that's I think is again a critical. That's actually a critical teaching.
Yeah, Moshe's prayer failed, and the prayer of all people lacking limbs has failed.
So if I may quote a great scholar and thinker.
Which one?
Me.
Are you going to say Dennis Prager?
No. So my argument, no, I'm joking when I say that. I mean, this is the argument I'm making here. So that's the mistake. So again, keeping in mind what we said about self-transformation and the great movement of the recognition of our own being as being unity with God and the universe. It's like moving from the quanta in nuclear physics to the waves in nuclear physics, realizing that we're all connected, we're all part of one greater moment. That's what prayer is really supposed to be. So prayer is not about getting something fulfilled. So Moshe's prayer is great, despite the fact that it's a failure. It's great in its own beauty and meaningfulness and effect. I mean, look, it's quoted, which again, like I said before, I mean, it's great when you write your own stuff. You can quote yourself, but
Okay.
no, you know. So Moshe's quoting. Moshe quotes his prayer, even though it is a failure. And Rav Nachman of Breslov, has in Likutei Maran in chapter 99 that he says that Chanan Hashem means that you should pray even when you're not connected, even when you're in a bad place, when you're far, because in a sense, when you do reach the right level, then the prayers themselves will lay more. They will speak. Right? It says that Chanan Hashem ba'itahi, and I pleaded to God, saying, and that saying, he says, is the cumulative effect of a lifetime of failed prayers suddenly hitting the mark.
Moshe's
That's a
lifetime?
famous. No, this is a lesson to us. So that be'itahi, so Vet Hanan, I prayed in this fallen state, in this tragic type of prayer, so that be'itahi lemor, so that ultimately all those prayers that I did, all of that stuff, they'll suddenly pull together at the moment where I really am connected, and they'll all be, you'll pull them all up. All the fallen prayers will be pulled, thrown together.
When you say hit the mark, hit which mark? You mean get God to do something for us, or
No,
to change our own state?
Elevation. We elevate ourselves. Our prayers will speak on their own. It's like I said before. So of the 10 lashonot of prayer, the word prayer is not one of them.
Right.
Because they are the prequel to prayer. They are the behind the scenes that allows the prayers to act upon us as they need to. And that actually is very connected to some of the teachings about why couldn't Moshe? Why is Moshe doing this, and why was the answer no? So one of the things about Rav Tzadok Cohen makes this argument that the reason that Moshe could not go into the land, because the land, as it were, there where we live, or where the Jewish people were supposed to go, right? The Dor Midbar is a magical time. They're living in the desert, but they don't stay in the desert. Right? The end goal is not that magical time. It's the coming down to earth and transforming normal life.
Yes.
So that was something that Moshe, at his great level, could not do. He was too perfected. So it's kind of the opposite again. So he could not step into the land. He could not make that move, because the purpose of the entering into the land is working from down there, from your blue collar up.
Yeah, getting there, taking work as plumbers and field hands and farmers and
Making mistakes, growing from them.
Yeah.
And the growth is what's important.
Yeah.
That is the you see that's the difference, and he says that's the difference between Torah Shabbat and Torah Shabbat Peh. Right? So we have a written law and an oral law. The written law is unalterable. It has to be written exactly the same way, right? If the letters aren't made perfectly, the Sefer Torah is puzzled. There is no innovation, imagination, creativity. Written Torah is done.
Yeah.
And Moshe is written Torah.
Yeah.
But life in the land and the goal of Jewish existence, our chachmatchem ubinatchem le'inei hagayim, as he said, it is the perfection of human society. And the perfection of human society requires a movement from primitive understanding, mistakes, to spiritual perfection.
Yes.
The state of spiritual perfection that Moshe was at would have stymied or challenged, or it would have been, it's like holding up a flashlight in the sun.
Just thinking of that image.
It's a very quick and fleeting image. So, since the goal of entry into the land is growth, and that's why God, like Moshe, hits the stone instead of like speaks to it. He's already, boom, he's like out, because at that level of perfection, the little things make a very big difference. I mean, you'd be happy if we actually believed any of it, right? If God said to us, you're going to get water out of the stone. I think if we even took the step and hit it, we'd already be making a big step forward. So that is again another lesson here in tying together different parts of Chanan. So again, it comes back to that other argument again. So every person's biography and their challenges and the growth that they attain through their own personal biographies becomes a contribution to the greater spiritual elevation of all of existence.
Okay.
With our failures, with our errors. So that's I think that's kind of like this Kafka recognized. So Kafka felt this.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't really know what he he was very. I guess there's no real need to read it in German. You want to be entertained in my bad pronunciation.
So what did Kafka recognize?
But Kafka was agonizing about his own role in things, and he felt that his situation was that of wandering the desert in reverse.
That he was going from the promised land to
Yeah,
Egypt?
he did not want to be a settled member of society. He wanted to live. He felt that he himself was in a state of wilderness, and wilderness is beautiful. It's really a cool phrase. He says wilderness is a place. But the fortwarenden, Ernährungen, and the Kinder. Wait, hold on. I should actually mark these things off before I. Oh, here we go. That. Für die niedrigsten blitzartige Erhöhungen allerdings auch mehr druckartige tausendjährige Zerschmetterungen gibt. That it's like these lightning out in the desert, outside of society, the normal order of society.
Mm-hmm.
There are, you're shot up in the air at lightning speed, and you're crushed for thousands of years as if under the weight of the seas. Those highs and lows aren't compatible with normal, settled, bourgeois, if you will,
right.
normal, settled
right.
life in society.
Right.
You want to have like crazy experiences that you don't know what's going to happen
right.
from moment to moment. You got to live in a hovel.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to have a lot of free time and